everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Legally NYC. This is your host, Erin. I have another wonderful guest with me today. This is Kameron Monet.
Hey y'all, I'm so excited to be here and get into the tea.
Yes, we're so excited to have Kameron. Kameron and I met at the Empire State of Law Conference, and right away I was like, this energy. I was like, I need this energy on my podcast. I was like, she's just a good time.
I'm
So
so excited.
I know. So I was so excited when she said yes, that she'd love to come on. She loves doing podcasts. But for those of you that don't know who Kameron is, she is a YouTuber, attorney, vlogger, TikToker. She's everything. So Kameron, do you want to give your own little elevator pitch about yourself? Just how do you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Well, since you insist, girl. No.
Okay.
Hey y'all, I'm Kameron with a K. I am a YouTuber, influencer, entrepreneur, content creator, influencer marketing consultant, and a licensed attorney. Little plot twist on there. I love everything about social media and the digital space. So not only do I work in there as a creator, but now I work there as a consultant, as attorney. I help other creators, entrepreneurs navigate contract space with brand partnerships to make sure we are getting adequately paid. Okay, period.
Yes, so very important. I will hire Kameron when I am big enough to start making big deals. And I'm like, Kameron, help me out, girl.
Period. Let's manifest it, okay?
Yes, we're manifesting it right here, right now. But yes, so that's Kameron. I don't know, just everything you do is so cool because you do such a good like mix of things. So we have her on today. We're gonna do for our main chunk of the episode. It'll be a little best of both worlds, is what we're calling it. A little
period.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm all about. I love a 2-for-1.
Oh, yes. But before we jump into that, like how does she do both? How'd she get into it? Let's learn a little bit more about her. So Kameron,
Okay.
where are you from?
Oh, okay. So all around the world. No, I was born in Manhattan, New York. I was raised in Flint, Michigan. I went to college in Georgia, and now I'm currently in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay, yeah, all around the country for sure.
East Coast, at least.
Yeah, all around the East Coast. East Coast, totally fair. So now you said Alabama.
Yeah, I love it. I love the South. Coming from like Michigan and New York, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The weather here, oh yeah, now I'm spoiled.
Yeah,
Basically.
I feel that. I went to undergrad in San Diego and I miss
Oh
like
my goodness.
all the time. But so you're from there. That's where you live. And where did you go to law school? You said you went to
Alabama.
Alabama. Okay, so that's how you ended up in Alabama for law school.
And I thought I was gonna go back to Georgia because I love Georgia and like Atlanta and all that. And then honestly, there's something about like the small city of Birmingham that I just love. Like I love about it because I get like the city kind of baby city vibes without the traffic. So I'm like, oh, this is great.
I love that.
And it's a lot more affordable. Okay, let me tell you.
Oh my God. Yeah, New York is not affordable. And yeah, I'm sure it's more affordable than Atlanta too.
Yes, very much so. And I went to school at Stanford University. So I didn't go to Alabama University, let me clear that. But it's in Alabama.
Okay. And how did you pick your law school then? Because you said you didn't think you'd be there. So
yeah.
how'd you end up there then if that's not what you envisioned?
So honestly, I thought about going to law school like in the middle of college. I was not the person that was like, all my life, I want to go to law school and be a lawyer. Like, nah, girl, I was like, I'm going to be an actress on Broadway. So catch me on the films and on the stage. But my advisor was an attorney and he was like, hey, you need to pick a major. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, just try some pre-law classes. And I tried them. I love them. I've always liked to read, write, research. And to me, like being on stage felt the same as like being in the courtroom. So I did mock trial in undergrad, applied to like all these law schools. I was like, listen, if I get in, I'm gonna go. So I got into several schools and then I just got the best scholarship offer at Cumberland. I was like, great. They have a great trial team program. The school was beautiful. Let me just see what it's about.
Okay. And then you just fell in love with it? And that was
literally, I fell in love with, I really had a good law school experience. I mean, considering, aside from like the studying part, you know, you got to actually pass the classes. But
yeah. But
aside from that, I had I had such a great experience there. And like, I networked so much there. And now I just love the South. I'm kind of like addicted, but I'm not against going anywhere else.
I absolutely love that. Honestly, I'm jealous of the weather. Like I said, I was telling Kameron before I hopped on, it's raining here today and it's like kind of cold and rainy. I didn't know it was going to rain. Oh, so I'm jealous of you.
It's literally like 96 degrees here right now.
Yes. Yeah, literally. Oh, I'm so jealous. Okay, so that's where you went to school. That's where you're from. What is your astrological signs? What's your sun sign?
Oh, okay, girl. Let me get my little co-star app. Let me
Oh,
tell
yes,
you.
yes, yes. You
When
got that
my
whole
friends
chart.
put me on this, I was like, it is over. I know who I am and where I belong. No,
Love it.
so I am a Virgo moon, of
Okay.
course, period. Because I mean
Mm-hmm.
Virgo. Um, Taurus, no, Virgo sun, Taurus moon, Aquarius rising. There we go.
Okay. Okay. I don't know
I don't know much
anything
about
about
Taurus and Aquarius, but
yeah.
Virgo,
Okay.
it's my birthday, so of
My
course.
sister is a Taurus, and she's I never know how to explain them. I feel like she's like a very well, let me explain her. She's a very bubbly person, but also like kind of reserved at the same time.
Mm.
I don't know.
That sounds about right with me.
Yeah.
The Virgo kind of throws me out because, like, since it's my son, I feel like I'm like overly organized sometimes.
Hmm.
But yeah, like, give me a
Yeah.
to do list. I will thrive. To do
Yes.
list, calendar, color coordinated. It's like, girl, wow.
Oh
Good
my God, I
morning. It's a
love
lot.
color coordinate. Oh my God.
That could be like a type A thing too, though.
Yeah, but I feel like that goes hand in hand with like your signs. You know, like
Yeah,
some signs are more prone, I feel like, to be type A than others. You know, that's what I
that is
found.
true.
Hmm.
That is so true.
Yeah, I'm a Pisces. So I I don't think that's the part of me that's type A. I think that's just the ADHD in me trying to overcompensate for the lack of organization. But I'm like very Pisces, like my head's up in the clouds. I'm like a dreamer. I'm like, I'm gonna do all these things.
I
So
love that.
yeah, I love astrology, but you've got to get on the pattern app. Right now, you're
Oh,
using,
let me take some notes.
okay, you got to download the pattern. I like that one because it gives you more of a description of like what your different, how the different parts of you kind of interact. So, like, CoStar gives you
Ooh,
a chart and it gives you like the rundown of what house everything's in and what it means.
right.
But the pattern will tell you, like, I don't know, kind of overarching the patterns is what they call them, patterns in your life
They'll give you
based
the
on
patterns.
the patterns. Yeah, the pattern. But it's also cool because they have like a relationship comparison thing. So it can be like romantic relationships or friendship. Like you get to pick which one it is. And it'll
Ooh.
like say how you interact based on your charts together. And it's like
Ooh.
honestly accurate. I'll read things, I'll be like, oh my God, that is hot.
Like, that's why I should have left him alone.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've had some of those, and I'm like, yeah, it's right. Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
ooh, tragic. Is
Ooh,
that what's
yeah,
happening?
yeah,
Walk away.
yeah. But check out that one. I love the pattern.
Ooh, I will.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yes. Okay. So, and last question for you before we jump into the like best of both worlds. How did
Period.
you, or when did you decide what area of law you wanted to go into? Like, did you know while you were in school, or did you kind of figure it out after as you went? What was your journey to finding your practice area?
Yeah, so I went into law school and I'm like, I'm gonna be a district attorney. I'm gonna do the criminal law
Oh,
thing, work
yeah.
with the DA. I feel like everybody like at some point, usually people say that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I clerked at the DA's office. I actually loved it, but I was like, let me just see what else is out there. And I was volunteering, and there was an attorney that was volunteering with me, and he was like, hey, I do employment law. Have you ever thought about it? And I'm like, what is that? Like, no, but if y'all are offering a job, then my
Then I'll
summer is available. So yeah, I like went to their firm, got to know them. I clerked with them after my second year, and during my third year, they offered me a job, and I said yes.
Oh my
So
God,
I just stumbled in employment law, literally.
that's so funny. So I never know what employment law is. There's so many firms I feel like that say they do employment law, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the civil side of some criminal things. So like any type of discrimination, harassment,
Oh,
retaliation,
okay, okay.
things like that. Which is real. It was really interesting to me. And then like it's a lot of contracts in that. So then it's like that led me into now that I do like influencer marketing contracts. I already kind of had that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Then a lot of creators are hiring. So when they come to me like, hey, I'm thinking about having an assistant, I can help them draft those contracts and talk through what that would look like from an employment perspective too.
Okay, this makes so much sense. I don't know why. Just when I hear employment law, I'm like, I have no idea what that is. But like
That was me.
yeah, I was like, I don't know what this is, but that makes a lot of sense. So it's kind of the civil suit side in terms of like the criminal things that
Yep.
happen with harassment, but then it's also like
Yep.
the contracts. and hiring. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
It's all coming together in my head. Okay. Okay. I lied though. I do have one more question for you. The last one is just what are your 3 biggest tips for current law students?
Ooh, this is
Mhm.
good. Okay. One is like my life motto, which is what's for you is for you. So stay in your own lane. Everything that works for somebody else just might not work for you. And that's okay. Like, just what's for you is going to be for you. You can help others, you can give them your notes, but I promise you, they will not take away your grades. They will not take away your job. You're going to get what you're going to get regardless. So that's my number one tip.
I love it.
Second would be it's okay to take breaks. You need them. Take breaks. Call a friend that is not in law school. Talk about things that have nothing to do with the law. Take time for yourself, whether it's a walk, whether it's a workout, whether it's drinking your coffee, looking at the clouds. Like, those moments like help fuel you, and you think, oh, I'm wasting time. Like, you need this to survive because it's difficult. So learn those healthy habits while you're in law school, because when you're a lawyer, it's still going to be just as crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and then 3 would be it's okay to pivot. So when you're in law school and you get that first job, you feel like this has to be the job, like the job of all. I'm going to stay here forever. And it's just not the case for a lot of people. So it's okay to pivot, to change the area of law you want to do, to change if you want to practice or not. Like, it's okay to change that. So be flexible. That would be my 3 tips.
I love those. Those are great. I especially like the take breaks one because I feel like a lot of people do just get caught up in law school and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, I just have to study 24/7. Like I'm either studying or
Yep.
doing my externship or like writing for something. Like you gotta breathe or you're gonna burn
Yes,
out.
like, wow.
Wow.
Sleep is a weapon. That's what
Yes.
something my trial team coach, he would tell us, like, rest is a weapon. Like, y'all have to sleep. Because we would be up trying to memorize everything and do it. And he's like, everybody go to bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. No, my brain does not work if I don't sleep. Like when I
Me
don't
too.
sleep, I'm walking around and I'm like, how do I make thoughts? Like how do I get anything to come into my head? Like
What's today?
yeah,
What's
I was
the
like,
date?
what day is it? What classes do I have? Like, what are we doing? So I love those. Those are fantastic tips. Okay, so we shall get into the major part of the episode now. Okay, everybody. So time for the best of both worlds with Kameron. So Kameron, for the people that don't follow you, like they're just learning about you now, which you all have to go follow her after listening to this, of course. Anyway, so what was first for you? Was it the legal field law school or was it the influencer YouTubing? How did it
Hmm.
start? Which was first?
So it was the influencer YouTubing. So I started my YouTube channel in 2014. That was the first like social media platform I was on where I wanted to use it as a creator. Like, I had MySpace, but like I had that, I wasn't using it for that. So YouTube was like that girl. I was watching so many YouTube girls do their makeup and hair, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to do that. I had people ask me all the time because I'm always like changing my hair. They're like, girl, just make a YouTube channel. I was like, who's Miss YouTube? So then I made one. I said, okay. At this time, I wasn't making any money. I was still in college, and I was just like posting videos literally in my dorm. Cringy. If you guys want to see my first few videos, they're still up there.
I'm gonna look.
Still up there. Please do. I like to keep them. Sometimes I'm like, oh, delete those. Stop it. But it shows the growth, and it shows my entire experience, and like I vlogged through law school and stuff like that. But it started with YouTube. Went to law school, and I was like, well, I still have this passion for creating, so the content is just gonna have to change. I'm not doing my hair, girl. I'm in class with a bun. So y'all gonna have to get this law school content. So then I started sharing like blogging and like exams and the stress of it all and figuring out what the heck am I doing. And then that just transitioned into when I was practicing, and then now like being a full-time creator and an entrepreneur.
I absolutely love that. Do you ever go back and watch your old videos yourself? Will you go back
Yes,
and watch them?
I do. Not sometimes I don't watch it in its entirety,
Mhm.
but there's definitely times where I went back, especially I do like at the beginning of the year, I do like my goals for the year. So I'll go back to watch that.
Yeah.
And like when I'm frustrated or I'm like, oh, I'm just so unmotivated, I will watch my law school vlogs, and like the passion, like as a law student, I had to like graduate and the excitement. And then now, like, I never want to take for granted, like being a licensed attorney, whether I'm practicing or not. Like, it's just a great place to be. And then like I get to create content for amazing brands. I have to remind myself sometimes, like, girl, if you don't sit down and be grateful for someone, girl, get
Yeah, you're like, look at where we came from, look at where we are now.
literally.
Yeah, it's like a video diary for yourself,
It
basically. You
is.
can look
I
back.
love it.
That's
And like travel vlogs, like with family and friends, like I've done some travels where I got to bring my mom on a brand.
Oh,
Like
that's so
it's
fun.
just I love looking back at that kind of stuff, and it's just video diaries. Exactly, that's a great way to put
Yeah.
it.
No, I absolutely love that. I'll look back at some of my old TikToks I made like before I even started the podcast, and I'm like, oh my God, we were putting these things out there. And I'll just be like,
Wow.
yeah, it's just like it's funny to look back, and I'll look back and be like, wow, I'm like a totally different person even like 2 years ago. So
Yes, like shoot, I was like the beginning of the year. I'm like, who was that
yeah,
girl?
literally, I'm like, oh my God, I was so fake. I was on here like, these are some of my favorite tips for like law school applications. And I was like, that's not even my voice. Like, who
You're like,
was
who
talking?
is speaking?
Yeah. And even like with my
Yeah.
podcast, like some older episodes, I listen and I'm like, I feel like I was just trying so hard. And now I just like to come on and just like chat and vibe. And I'm like, this is just more fun
Yeah.
this way. So it's,
Exactly. I feel like you have to find your like your rhythm and like your lane in the creative space. And it
yeah.
definitely takes time because there's sometimes I'm like, girl, what was you even talking about? Please, you just get better over time.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that because it's like you live, you learn, you practice makes I feel like never perfect. There's like never
Yeah.
perfect in the creative world, but practice makes better and different.
Yes. So that's good. Practice makes better. Yeah.
Practice makes better. Okay. That's so fun though. I love that you started kind of the creating and the vlogging before you were even in law school. It wasn't like you were
Hmm.
there and you were like, well, I'm going to take people along. It was like way back before that. You were like in the YouTube era where it was like, yeah, just like, let me show you how I do my hair, my
Literally,
makeup.
like here are 5 tips. Like,
Yeah,
welcome to my YouTube channel. Like
exactly. So
very
crazy,
basic.
crazy to see like where you are now and like how that's kind of changed over time and that it like followed you through your whole journey through law school and now
Yeah.
you're practicing. So, so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's been your favorite part about having the YouTube channel like throughout all of this? What do you, yeah.
Oh, probably two things. One, the reflecting, like being able to see myself and see the growth. Like I journal and stuff like that, but it's nothing like going back, like you were saying with your podcast, like going and listening to your younger self, like, wow, I had no idea like 5 years I'd be here, or like I had all these dreams and goals, and it's like, girl, I'm doing it, or I changed my mind, or girl, you was never gonna do that ever, girl. Bye, you's crazy. It's just so interesting, like visually see it.
Mhm.
That would probably be the first thing. And then second is I have so many community members. Oh, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. That was weird. I have so many community members that have been following me for years. Like the comments that are like, I decided to go to law school because of you, or you know what, I thought I had to stay at my horrible job, but I saw you left, and like, not that my job was horrible, but like they're situated, like just seeing you be able to leave, like, or seeing you embrace whatever new that I do, because I'm always doing something different, child. But it's just having people like actually invested in that and like are along with me is nice.
I love that. And then they're like inspired by what you do. So kind of seeing how
Yes,
you
it's
affect
like
them. Yeah, it's
wow.
like, wow, people like they listen, they've been following, like they
Yeah, it's
care about what I
crazy sometimes.
say.
I'm like, that's a lot. The pressure is getting worse. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's so cool too. And because you've been doing it for so long, like you've built such
Yeah.
like a solid community from it, from these people that
Yeah.
have been following you from the beginning. And that's just so, so cool.
It is. It's a beautiful responsibility to have.
A beautiful responsibility. That's a good way to put it. Yep, that's
Yeah,
true because it does come with responsibility, like
for sure.
putting your thoughts and ideas out there. Do you want to talk a little
Yeah.
bit kind of how like responsibility does come into play, especially with also like being a practicing attorney,
Right.
like
Okay.
how that like crossover happens?
Yeah. Definitely being a practicing attorney. Like one thing about me is I'm not never gonna put myself in a position intentionally to be disbarred. That is absolutely not. I will fight for my life. No, it took me too long to get here. But yeah, those 3 years. I mean, 3 years in the bar is like, oh, you get very protective. Um, but it's one part of me is like I want to show that there's no cookie cutter way to be an attorney. Like I want to be my honest, true self. I want to have fun with my friends. Like I want to experience life. I want to travel. I want to show that I am a creative. All these things that are, I could say, more of a non-traditional lawyer thing. Like, we think of lawyer, you think, okay, got a white button up, got the black pantsuit, you're going to
Oh.
the firm, you're sitting in the office. It's like there's so much more to being an attorney. It's like I always say I'm a creative first and I'm an attorney second. And like even both of those titles, it's not who Kameron is. It's just something that I love to do. But yeah, so I try to show like that, but also making sure that I'm not sharing confidential information about clients. But I also want to share like how I'm able to help clients, and like there's a thin line between that. Because I have clients that aren't in my same state. I'm consulting. I try to make sure that's clear. Like, hey, I'm not your attorney. That's a different type of experience, and things like that. So I try to make sure that I'm within the ethics, of course, but then still showing the fun aspects as well. It can be hard to find that balance, but now it's a lot easier because I work for myself. So it's kind of like I don't have the responsibility of like, I don't know, like having the law firm be a
Yeah.
reflection of me too. So
Mhm.
that's kind of nice. So it makes it a little bit easier, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Was that a little bit tough to navigate them when you did have an employer? When, like, did they have any strict rules around like social media and stuff? I know it depends on the employer. Some are like
Yeah.
private, like, did they have a problem with it, or were they
Yeah.
fine?
So they, not until towards the end, but they knew. I mean, I've had social media before then. They thought I had just started it. And I'm like,
No.
cute. Y'all just got here, but we've been here. So I think it's just about being transparent. And like for me, I'm just naturally a little bit more modest and conservative when it comes to the content I post. Like
Hmm.
I don't do a lot of, I'm not really in a lot of like conflicts when it comes to like conversations. That to me is like personal. I'll talk politics, I'll talk all these things in person on calls, like things like that. But for me, my platform is like I won't discuss things that I don't feel like I'm an expert or I'm well versed in. Like
Yeah, smart.
I can give my opinion, but because again, the beautiful responsibility,
Hmm.
some people may take my opinion as truth. And if I'm not comfortable with someone taking it as the truth versus just like me just having a conversation with like friends, then I won't say it. Just out
Yeah.
of the fact of I don't want that to turn into, okay, that's what she thought or that's what she said. Because something I have learned over the years is, I mean, our mindsets change. Like we grow up, like I'm 29 now. And I started, I was like, I don't know, 2020. So like it's like I'm a totally different person. So I don't want to ever put myself in a box of like, I have to stick to this opinion, because shifting it
Yeah.
with an audience of any size can be a whole lot of work. So
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit more cautious when it comes to that. Talk about now, if it's something I stand by, like period, like I'm gonna say it and I say what I say,
Mhm.
period. But I need to make sure like I'm in a place where I can take the good and the bad from someone else's opinion, no matter how
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, no, that's really smart because you do definitely have to be careful, especially like talking about like politics and stuff.
Yes, or
Because
laws. I'm like,
yeah, politics and laws, especially like you said, because like you, even as a person, will change over time. So like what if your own view shifts? Like you have all these people, maybe you'd then like just get a following of people that agree with you on like that thing. And then
right,
what if you like shift your idea about something and they're like, well, that's not what she said. And
right, and she's a liar.
yeah,
I'm like, whoa, whoa.
exactly. Like, no, I'm just a person. Like we learn
I'm
things.
just human.
Yeah, I'm human. We learn, we change our minds, we grow. Like that's what life's
Yeah,
about. But yeah, definitely that's definitely a tricky thing. I try to be careful on here with stuff like that too. Of course, like I'll talk about things that are important,
yeah,
but I'm not gonna like push my agenda on people unless it's like so important. I'll like explain almost like factually why like something's important or the effect of it.
yes,
Like I did an episode about the whole Roe v. Wade Dobbs thing,
yes,
but I used it more of a space to like be informative, be like, this is the
yep,
effect it has, because so many people just saw
yes,
it as like, oh, now abortion's illegal. So I was like, this is actually like where it's coming from, and this is the effect it actually has, and some of the things that are
exactly.
happening. Just so people are like, oh, okay, I see like why people think this is so important. Like it has all of these
Hmm.
effects. More,
Right, more of like an open discussion type forum versus like,
yes,
this is what we believe over here, and it's like, whoa, it's a
exactly.
lot.
Like, exactly. Because even if like you are trying to switch someone's opinion, like it's never by you yelling at them. Like it's a lot of
Exactly.
times if someone has an opinion on something that you feel like shouldn't be an opinionated thing, but it's like more of a human rights thing. A lot of time it
Right.
has to do with them like not understanding the full kind of the full scope of it. So
Yeah.
you just like if you're taught if there's something you care about, like just be more informative to people, and then
Yes.
like then people have to sit on it. That's kind of how it works. Like you
Exactly.
learn, you sit, you digest it,
Yep.
and like that's all you can do, you know? You can't
Exactly. And then
throw it.
there's still gonna be people that are gonna be like, you know, you got to deal with some of the naysayers and like the trolls.
Exactly.
That's just the name of the game.
Exactly. But you don't want to like try and like pick fights with people. Like a lot of times
Yeah.
those like that's not worth your energy,
Mm-mm.
especially if it's someone that's gonna like fight with you over something that you find so important and you're like, they're just not gonna agree. Like they're not worth your
Exactly.
energy at that point. Like put your energy into people that like care and want to have a conversation and want to listen and understand what's happening. So
Exactly.
yeah, but
And what I've learned is I share a lot online, but I don't. It may seem like, oh, she shares so much. It's like I share probably like 20% of my life, which
yeah,
seems crazy because I share a lot.
yeah,
So then when people are responding, I have to remind myself like they don't really know me. Like they know me what I
mhm,
show, but they
exactly.
don't really know me. So
Mhm,
that helps too when it comes to like different comments or conversations. I'm like, you know what?
yeah.
I know I'm very much I can hear both sides, but maybe that's the lawyer in me. I'm like I'm never I can be very like this is how I feel, but I'm so open to hearing like anyone's opinions. But people online just aren't like that. So I have to like remind myself like, hey, everyone doesn't think like this. They
Mm-hmm.
don't know me. Let's just let them say what they need to say. Maybe they need to get that out.
Yeah, like maybe they're having a bad day. They just need to like take it out
Hmm.
somewhere because that's
Right.
so true. Like
Excellent.
people do
Hmm.
not know you. Like they only know what you show. So if you're like, I know that's
Exactly.
not me, like whatever they comment, if you're like, that's not true. They don't know that
Yep.
part of you. And you're like, okay, they don't know me.
Exactly. Or I will block them.
Yeah, or block them if it's
Block,
yeah,
block, bippity boppity block. You're getting
yeah,
blocked. Block. Or
exactly.
restricted on Instagram.
Yeah, because you don't need those bad vibes on your stuff. Like if they're being mean, you don't want them there anyway. Why not just block them?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's the people that come back and make another account then. I saw
I'm like,
oh my God. I saw on a
girl, if
TikTok.
you don't get some business,
It's
like,
it's like find something else to do. But I saw a TikTok last week where somebody commented something really rude and then they got blocked by the creator and then they created a new account that said, I know you blocked me or something. And I was like,
it's like you got so much time on your hands. Like,
like
get.
exactly. And it's like those are
Mm-mm.
the people that are not worth your time and energy. Like they've got something going on themselves if they've got the time to spend doing this and that's how they want to spend their energy.
Like, what?
Like oh girl, like they'll work through it on their own maybe one day, but like that's not yours to work through with them.
Mm-mm.
You're not in a place for that. That's yeah, so that's so interesting. So have to be careful with what you say online. Don't want to
For
get
sure.
yeah. I feel like
Because
that's
once it's out there,
yeah. Once it's out there, it's out there.
somebody's going to screenshot it. Something you never know. You could
Mhm.
delete it and it could still be out there.
Yes. Yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
always cautious.
Yeah, always be cautious. And even so, like right now, you're your own boss right now. But like what if one day
Hmm.
like you want to work for someone else again? Like what if you're not doing this anymore? You want to work for some
Exactly.
big brand that you've like always dreamed of. That stuff is out there forever. They'll find it.
Exactly. Or even like clients. Like I want to have a good
Yeah.
reputation in the community in general. Like I
Mhm.
want referrals and all those things. So I
Yes.
still want to be my authentic self, but I also want to be like respectful and a level of professional because I am in a profession.
Exactly. And there's definitely a way to do both. Like you don't have to either
Yes,
be like this fun content creator or be like professional. Like you can still be authentic, be yourself and be fun, but not
exactly.
be professional in like the way you treat other people and stuff. Like just kind of the way you put yourself out there. You don't want to be seen as like a bad, like crazy person. Otherwise, yeah, no
Exactly.
client.
Like a mean girl. Like
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to be a mean girl. There'd be no clients for you then.
Period. It's like that's horrible. Like what?
That is horrible. Okay, speaking of clients, let's talk a little bit about your legal life then. What's that look like for
Ooh.
you, balancing the two? So do you split your time 50-50 or do you do more content
Hmm.
creation? How do you manage that? What's the vibe?
Oh, great question. I haven't even thought about the percentages in a while. Um, so right now I would say it's like 60-40, 60% creative,
Mhm.
40%
Okay.
legal consulting. I think eventually it may shift. I'm kind of okay with it where it's at right now. I almost would rather 70% creative, 30% consulting because I love creating and it's time consuming, but I will say it shifts throughout the year. So like with
Yeah.
Q4 coming up, holiday season, it's definitely giving like 70, maybe even 80% creating and like 30 to 20%
Okay.
consulting because it's just time consuming. So little entrepreneurship tip. I separate my goals by the quarter. It just helps me like see and check in and like let my team know like this is kind of like how much we want to make, or this is the service we want to offer, or our launch dates are this. So we think about it in like quarter increments. So we always say Q4 is going to be holiday season. So it's going to be brand partnerships are going to have to be prioritized. So that means kind of the contract's got to be put on the back bin a little bit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So yeah, that's where it is right now. 60-40, but it's about to shift. Probably this next week. What's Thursday? Yeah, next week is about to shift very quickly.
Coming up, holiday season,
baby. It's a fun time, but it's chaos. Because in YouTube we have Vlogmas. It's just a lot. And Vlogmas is like posting a video every day. It's crazy because I edit my video still. I think next year I might finally bite the bullet and get an editor because it's just so time consuming. But every day is different. So some weeks I'm like, okay, one thing that's consistent, Mondays and Fridays are my CEO day. So they're my catch-all day. They're like whatever I need, whether it's I need to go get my nails toes done, or I need to do whatever. I need to prep for a shoot, or I have to add an extra call or something. Like I leave those days kind of like no one can book a call. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays when I'm like hitting the ground running, whether it's podcast interviews like this, or I'm doing any type of masterclass or webinar or in-person event. I try to have any client calls, contract consultations. I had one this morning. All that is like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Because I realized, I'm like, okay, when I first quit, I thought, okay, I have to do the Monday through Friday thing, the 9 to 5. And it's like, no, I can customize it what works for me. And this is great. Mondays, I don't never really do much Mondays. I hate Mondays. So I was like, why not make it a CEO day where you can like really pour into yourself, prep for the week, hit the ground running during the middle of the week. Friday is kind of like, if I need to add calls, I definitely do. Or if I need to add something, but I kind of leave those days open. But every day is different. It kind of depends on what I need to do for the week. But I do make weekly to-do lists, and then I separate them into each day. So like if I have 10 tasks for the week, I assign them each day. And so that's how I survive.
That's how you survive. So you said every day looks different, but like what does like today look like for you as an example of like what your schedule might look like in a day? What's today look like?
Yeah, so dang, this is my not workout day, but usually I work out 3 times a week. But yeah, so today I actually slept in a little bit because I was up late doing some editing last night. Today I had a contract consultation call this morning for an hour. We're gonna do a revised update on that revision because she's gonna send it over and I'll take a look. Podcast interview right now. After this, I will be editing the YouTube video that's gonna go up. I started it, but I'm not done with it. Editing the YouTube video, get the thumbnail done, and schedule it for this evening. I will be editing an Instagram reel. So it's more of a creative day today. Editing a Instagram reel, and then I will be scripting some brand partnerships. So I have 2 sponsorships coming up, and I like to script them when they're a little bit more descriptive and like detailed, just to make sure when I shoot tomorrow, so Friday's going to be a shoot day, I can make sure that I'm hitting all the points that they need. And then my operation manager, she'll send me like, she handles my emails, systems, automations, my task management software, which is ClickUp. I love them, ClickUp, they're amazing. And she helps with all that. So I'm sure she'll be sending me stuff to do. And we have a newsletter going out Friday, so I need to draft that.
Okay. And I think when we talked at Empire State of Law, you said you do 2 vlogs a week. Is that right? You do one on Fridays and then
one on Sundays. Well, it kind of has shit because I've been traveling, girl. So when I'm traveling,
that's fair.
As long as I get them up in that week, that's what it's gonna be. But the goal is always a Sunday and a Thursday. Okay. Sometimes it ends up being Friday. So today I'll have a video go up, and then this week I missed Sunday because I was traveling. So then Tuesday.
Okay. And I think you said you do like one like kind of weekly just week vlog. And then the other one is just like whatever you're feeling that week, like different things.
Sometimes it's a routine or a clothing haul since fall is coming up. Gonna do some more of that kind of stuff. So yeah, this one is gonna be a vlog again because New York Fashion Week vlog gotta go up,
Oh yes.
So sometimes there's 2 vlogs.
Sometimes there's 2 vlogs. I feel like that's a really good way that you've kind of found to manage your time, like being like, I have 2 videos a week. It's usually this days. Monday and Friday are like my days to like get done what I have to get done. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's when all the meetings and everything happens. I feel like you kind of found your balance in that. And
it took me a while to get here because before, I mean, when I first quit, I honestly was just working like all the time. I had no like structure and I was like, I'm so burnt out already. And it's like, that defeats the purpose of like quitting and having the flexibility in your time. So also like I felt bad. I used to be like, feel bad to like restrict my time. Like, oh, people should be able to call me at all hours. No, cut off. Like, I don't accept calls after 4 p.m. Central Time, like things like that, because I end up working a little bit later, but it's other tasks that I need to do. So
Yeah.
it's like, that's the pro and the con of being the CEO. It's the, okay, I got to meet with my accountant and make sure that's going out. And then we had externs and like all the kind of like back end stuff that needs like my final approval. I have to make sure I have time for that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, that's really smart, having that cut off at like 4 o'clock. Like, no more calls, because you still have things to get done and you don't want to
Yes,
be up until like 3 a.m. doing them.
exactly. Because I need sleep.
Yes, we need sleep. Sleep is a weapon, as you said.
Exactly. Literally.
Yeah, literally. You said it took you a while to kind of get to the kind of schedule you have going now. Like, how did you kind of find that? Like, was it like trial and error? And like, do you
Mhm.
give yourself your weekends completely no work then? How do you kind of handle that?
No. So
Okay.
yes and no. I'd say like it depends.
Okay.
So a lot of it kind of depends on the season. So Q4, I'm probably going to be working almost every day. Sundays, if I'm uploading a vlog, like I do, I got to promote the vlog, so I'm a little bit working, but I try not to work on the weekends over like 3 to 4 hours. Like that's like my
Okay.
max. Like if I have to work on Saturday, I'm not working more than 4 hours max. Like ideally less than that. And same thing with Sundays, I'm not working more than 4 hours. But the gag with me is like with vlogging, it's like I'm kind of always working.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like work, but like I'll do like a weekend vlog, or like if I know we're doing like a brunch day party or something, I want to vlog that. So I'm working kind of around the clock to some extent, but I take time for myself. I'm like, okay, my morning workout is me versus me. Like it's just me in
Me
this little
versus
fitness
me.
studio doing what I can. Yeah, like I'm like, that's my time. And then at night, if I'm like reading, like that's why I like to read like with book, because if I'm on my phone or something, all of a sudden I'm on Instagram and I don't know how I got there. I don't know what happened.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just so I try to find pockets of time just for myself. And then also quarterly, I haven't done great this year, but I try to do like a weekend solo trip where it's just me, my thoughts. I can brainstorm. I can like just check in and make sure like, all right, you have a pulse? Excellent.
You have a
All right. I'm
pulse.
so glad that
Are
we're
we
here.
still breathing?
Yeah, like, all right, we're doing great. Sounds good.
Okay.
Let's get back into it. And
We're
then as a creative, you have to have those downtimes to like refuel your creative meter.
Yeah, I feel like that's for a lot of creators, that's something that they struggle with at the beginning, kind of like not doing the work like 24/7. They're like, I always have to be creating, but then you do hit that burnout. So I'm happy you've kind of found that balance. You do little check-ins, but
Yeah, it only took me like a year. It's fine.
well, that's okay. It takes time. You gotta figure it out, you gotta find your
Yeah.
schedule, find your kind of wavelength. Wavelength is not
Yeah.
the word I was looking
And
for,
be
but I
okay
get
to
that.
pivot.
Yeah.
Literally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, there was a thought in my brain. Oh, so you said quarter 4 is really, really busy for you. Do you,
Yes.
so I'm curious, do you find that as like a creator where you're like, you spend more of your time slightly more on creating than on lawyering, we'll say.
Mhm.
Do you find that certain times of the year are more lucrative for you, where you kind of have had to like find a way to like budget and balance because different times of the year you make more money and kind of
Yes.
planning?
Yeah. So Q4, I usually make the most, which makes sense because I'm a little bit, well, busy doesn't always equate, but
Mhm.
Q4 I make a lot more money. Like that's honestly, I could make the same amount I've made, and I'm on the like trajectory to make the same amount I've made up until this point in one quarter, Q4. That's
That's
how crazy it is.
crazy.
It's crazy. Look at the blessing. Come on, God, I receive it
That,
because we trying
oh,
to reach the revenue goal. Let's hope I can this year.
yes.
But the only surprising thing, because I'm in my second year, actually, my in 3 days it'll be my 2 year anniversary
Oh,
of
woo.
full time entrepreneurship. I've been doing this for a while, since I've had my LLC since 2017, but I went full time in 2020. So the first year I was like still trying to like, I'm like, what the heck? But Q4 also I made the most, but that was the most. Everything else was kind of like, it was kind of like, yes and down, yes up and down, but not like drastically like Q4. This year Q1 I made a lot, and then Q4. So I was like, it's that beginning of the year time that I made a lot, but I also spent more in the summer this year. So because traveling is back,
Yeah.
it's hot for
You
the vlog. You want to
got
show
it.
your street,
Gotta travel. It's for the content.
exactly. I'm like, it's for the content, but ironically, like my goal with vlogging and like with content is to show my life, not to vlog, not to live my life for the vlog, but for the vlog to like just watch me live my life, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was traveling a ton this year, so I spent a lot more in the summer. So I think that's some of it too. And I'd say like people aren't, I wouldn't say everyone, but are a little bit less online in the summertime. Like we're outside, we're excited. So I think that's why Q4, Q1 is kind of like where a lot of creators make the most, because people, it's cold most of the time. Like people are inside watching YouTube, watching, you know, Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So I would say like the beginning and the end of the year would be the most. So I have to budget for sure. But just in general, like as an entrepreneur, every month is different. Every month is different. I can have like a general idea of what I'm thinking I'm gonna make, but I haven't had the same amount I don't think in any month. It's always like a little different.
Crazy. Yeah. So I guess that's like the one thing about like being an entrepreneur, that you have to be like, you never like know exactly what it's going to be every month, because it's always different. Whereas if you're like on salary, you know, like,
yes,
this is how much I make every month. It's the same all year. So you can
and that was nice when I was on that. I do miss, that's one part I miss about salary.
Yeah, the
I'm
consistency.
like, I know for a fact I'm getting this amount.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so interesting. But obviously it's worth it because you love it. It's what you've been doing now
I
for
love it.
years full time.
Yeah.
it.
And like once you have like a good like track record of like income, and like it doesn't affect you as much. It's still like like when you have low months, like you start to freak out a little bit. Despite what's in the bank account, it's just like a natural nature of like, whoa, wait a minute. All I'm seeing is I'm spending money and money ain't coming in. What's happening? But when you have like a high month, and it's just like, okay, what if this is the most I'll make for the rest of the next 3 months? Okay, how can we budget this to make sure it makes sense? Set some aside for taxes.
Yeah. Oh my God, the taxes. Yeah.
Girl, I'll be ready to fight for my life. But yeah, and I have an accountant, so I'm a little spoiled. So she also does my bookkeeping.
Oh, we love that.
So I just check in with her every quarter, and then like if something comes up, she comes to me. And I'm just like, hey, am I spending too much?
Am I spending too much?
Okay?
Are we gonna make it? Are we gonna make it through the year?
Yeah, that was our conversation last month, or this month for going to Q4, and she was like, all right, you were spending very much traveling. I said, oh, I know. We're gonna reel it back in for the rest
You
of
were
the
like,
year,
reel it back in. It's getting to the colder times. Like summer is for travel. It's okay. Summer is for
and it's to be realistic. It's hard to like be realistic when you're in the beginning, when you're doing it on your own, but it's nice when there's people that like are like, no, I'm an expert in this. This is how much you need to make in order to reach your goal. If not, let's bring it back in. This is the area that you're spending the most on. You always at a restaurant, cook at the house. Okay, you at the restaurant, get home. You know, things like that. So it's really helpful to have people that are also like invested. But hiring has been one of the hardest things to do too. So
yeah, that's crazy. I'm so bad. I'm always spending all the time, and I'm like, I need money to come in so I can spend this. I'm trying to reel back in, but me too, since it's like getting colder out now and I'm more like diving fully into school. I'm like, I know it's gonna wind down naturally. I don't have as much time for things, and I don't want to go outside. But yeah, well, I'm excited for you then. Like Q4, I'm excited to see what kind of sponsors you got going, what kind of partners.
So exciting. Oh my God, like
I'm so excited.
Mind blowing. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Like every time I get a sponsorship, I'm just like, wow. Like especially with like a household name brand, but I'm like, this is so crazy. Like that's why I can be in this. I went to Sephora the other day, and I'm like, that's so crazy that I can say I've worked with some of these brands, or it's just like I'll never get over that. I'll never get over that feeling.
That's so crazy. I love that. Even like I just got my first sponsorship for the podcast this season, and even that I'm like, somebody's paying me for me to like say their name on here. It's just crazy.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Okay, I feel like we're gonna wind down this main chunk of the episode. What would be like a couple tips, or one tip, however many you have, for people that are maybe kind of getting into content creation? Just like, what tips would you have for them to kind of get started, maybe find that balance? Because I would assume they still have a job, or they're a student if they're just starting out, not going full time.
Yeah.
What are your tips?
Kind of like what I said, like make sure that you're not creating for the content. Like you're not just, I'm going to just go to this restaurant so that I can record. Unless it's like a sponsorship, that's different. You'll have to
then
go.
you
That's
gotta do
the, but like I try not to get caught up in the I need to do this for the content, because you'll be chasing after the ether. Like you never know where it's going to take you, versus like, okay, if I'm doing a podcast interview right now, I could set up my phone and get behind the scenes and like talk about my entrepreneurship journey and how I'm excited to share it, and like, and I'm already doing this. So there's so many things that we all already do that is content. Like there's like the TikTok that's like everything is content, everything is like that's literally everything you do is content. You're making your coffee in the morning. For you, it's like, okay, I do this every day.
But people
Somebody else is
love
like, that just inspired me to get up. Yes, like
I love watching the
morning
coffee
routines, night
chats.
routines. Girl, I love it. It's like what we might think is like, what? That's just something we do. Someone else might be inspired, motivated,
Yeah.
or like just want to see what you're doing. So just press record. Like just literally shoot the content, post the content, interact with your community. I don't care if it's 2 people in the room or 200,000. Like I'm gonna treat it the same way, because at the end of the day, I want to just be my authentic self, because that's who they're going to get attached to, and I don't want to present something different. And then they're like, "Girl, who was that?" So just have fun with it. Have fun. Don't overthink it. Don't jump into it like, "Oh, I got to make this much money." It's like just have fun, and I promise you, the money will come. Like the money will come. It's not always about the following. I have clients of all different following sizes. My highest client, I think he has. I just looked at it. Is it 17 million on TikTok? 12 or 17. And I've had clients that have under 1,000. People are making money at all spectrums. It's not just about the following.
Yeah,
So,
I have under 1,000 and I'm making money now. So it's definitely it's not about the following. It's about like the content you make and kind of like brands that like fall into that like niche almost. So it's not it's crazy. It's so that's such a good
so many opportunities, like and just time block and be realistic. Like the amount of consistency I've had this year has been the most I've had forever, like in any year. Because when I was in law school, for me, it was like that's priority. I cannot record every day. I can't do weekly vlogs. I have to like post when I can. So don't compare yourself to a full-time creator that has like a team, right? Like I'm looking for an editor, but like some people have editors and like videographers and photographers. It's like, and you're just, it's like it be just me with my little tripod. So I can't compare like how much I can post to other people. So that's another word of advice. Like stick to your lane. Like I promise you it's gonna work out.
Yeah, I feel like that's really good advice too, because like if you do have a full-time job or you're a student, like that's priority. Don't be like, oh, they post this many times a day. It's like I have to, like that's their full-time job.
Right.
You gotta
have
do
to
your
post.
job. Yeah.
Literally, okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's such a good tip. And that is something that like I know I've experienced like in law school. I like have to find my balance because like I don't like pay to market my podcast. I just market it through social media. So like I have my podcast. It comes out almost every week, but even like sometimes I'm like I have to skip a week because like I have an exam. So it's like you've got to know your priorities and just like, post when you can, be consistent when you can. But like
exactly. And just be yourself. Like someone's gonna catch the vibe. Like that's how I always say, like I could say the same thing. Like you need a contract. It's basic. Everybody can say you need a contract. We all could say that. Someone is going to come to me just by the way that I'm able to deliver it, and someone's gonna go to someone else instead by the way they deliver it. Like just be you and create online. It's so many people that are on here that want to connect with you.
Yeah, that's so true because it is a lot about how you present yourself. And like you don't want to present one way and then actually be the other way because then they'll meet you. It's not you.
And you'll be drained, like trying to put up this fake face. Like it's like, girl.
Yeah. And you don't want to work with people that don't like your kind of vibe and personality. So you want to be drawing in the people that will get along with you. And they're the ones that want to work with you. So it's just like be your real self and you'll find your people.
Yeah, literally. That's how social media works. When it works correctly. Miss Algorithm does what she wants. But
especially
they'll find you.
Especially the Instagram algorithm. I feel like I don't even know what it is. TikTok, my For You page, it's usually spot on. TikTok For You page.
Yeah.
But like Instagram, I don't know what's going on there. I have no idea.
They don't know.
They don't know. They absolutely do not know.
They're trying to figure it out.
I'd be so curious.
We're all in this experiment with them.
I'd be curious to see like what their algorithm is, like what it's based on. But like, I don't know. We'll find out one day. Maybe it'll fix it.
Exactly.
At some point it'll come together. Just not today.
I hope so.
I hope so too. Okay. I feel like that is it for the main chunk. Any last thoughts about living the best of both worlds, Cameron?
No, I just retweet everything we said. Just do you, be you, have fun. Like life is so short.
Mhm.
Don't forget to rest.
Yes.
Self-care is so important. Mental health is so important. But I love a good little work hard moment too. So I try to find that balance, and y'all can too for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. We will now dive into our two little segments at the end. Okay, everybody, we are back for our two segments. So we are going to start with the How to Be a Better Person segment. So for those that haven't listened, this is a tip of how you can be a better person this week. It could be sustainability. It could be how you could treat someone nicely this week, something you could do for someone, a cause to donate to, an organization to volunteer for, whatever you're feeling. What can we do to be better people this week, Cameron?
Oh, I love that. Can I give two things?
Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
judge me though.
absolutely. More
Okay.
better.
One, when you're in the Starbucks line, pay for the person behind you. I do this periodically throughout the year. I know it happens a lot in the holidays, but I do it periodically. And I just feel so good. It's something about it. Like I drive off, I don't want to like see. It's like being able to think like, wow, I could have really just made their day. Maybe they're like rushing to work or they're like stressed and like, oh my gosh, I need a coffee. So
Mm,
that's something that you can do.
I
The
love that.
second thing would be to do one thing every single day for yourself, whether that's like have a glass of water without noise or listen to your favorite podcast. Do one thing per day for yourself. And when you are a better you, you're a better you to everybody else.
I love that. That's so inspirational.
Thanks. Thanks,
That's
girl. That's what I try to do, girl. I try. Gotta
that's
fill my cup,
that's
okay?
so beautiful. I'm gonna go drink a glass of water after this because I'm thinking I haven't
Period.
really had any today. Um, yeah, constant dehydration. It's a problem. We're working on it. Um, I'll give a tip of how to be a better person. I feel like I'm running out. I give tips every single week. My
Oh,
tip for today will be to, oh, if you have a dog, a friendly dog, let people pet it. Like, don't just like, you know how
oh.
sometimes when I'm in a rush, I'll just like, walk fast and kind of ignore people. You have a dog, take a free 10 minutes that you have and just do like a slow stroll or just like sit over by a park or something. And people, they'll just come to you and they're going to be like, can I pet your dog? Let them pet the dog.
Oh, I
Don't
love
like run
that.
by and
Yeah, I
ignore
love when people let me
people.
pet it.
Yeah. Let the people pet it. They love it. Pets are good for people. If you have it one, share the wall. Share it with people.
Oh. Yeah, some people do run. Now that I think about it, that's what they're doing.
I do, I do sometimes if I'm in a rush.
Oh.
If I'm in a rush, if I have time, I'm always like, you could
Oh, can I
try.
pet your dog? Like
Yeah.
not you running.
Can I
You
pet your
can't.
dog? No. The other day I was in a rush somewhere and I was walking, I had my AirPods in too, and someone walked up and they're like, can I pet her? And I was like, sorry, like I'm running, I'm busy.
And
But
they were like, I
yeah.
needed one pet.
hmm But when I have the time, I always stop and let them pet her. I'm like, she gets a little spooked sometimes by big men, but I'm like, you could try, just
Oh.
like put your hand out and let her like sniff you. She's not gonna bite you, but she might run the other way.
Yeah.
But so I'm always like, she's not gonna hurt you, so you can always try to pet her. She just is,
Yeah.
she might not allow it. She might go the other way, but that's her business. Like she's her own person. I do not control her. She is, she's her own being. She knows what she likes.
Period. She's like, not today, sir.
Exactly. Like she was in a mood the other day. Like she didn't even really want to see other dogs. She usually loves other dogs,
Ooh.
runs up to them. But she was in a mood the other day. So I was just like, okay, we're not interacting, woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Like, take me home.
Yeah, literally. She was like, Mom, it's not today. Not today. Okay. And our last little segment is a fun thing to do in your city. So you've looked in a few different cities. So honestly, you can pick
Ooh.
what tip you want to give for a city. It can be a place to go, a thing to do, like a food to try, if it's something that's like unique to that city or a specific place.
Ooh. Oh, that's so hard. Okay, I'm gonna do Birmingham,
Okay.
Alabama. Oh, it's so much stuff to do. Okay, I'm just gonna do a general and then like something else.
Mhm.
Generally, eat here. The food in Alabama is top tier. All food, any cuisine, Mexican, I mean Italian, Southern, of course. Like I've never went to a restaurant and didn't like the food here. The service sometimes, but the food is phenomenal. There's so many amazing places downtown. Like on Second Avenue, you can just walk and there's food places everywhere.
I love
It's
that.
so good. Sushi, it's called Shoe Shop. Oh my God, it's so good. As far as like activity, the Birmingham Museum, like it's just beautiful. Like it's gorgeous. It's 2 floors. They change it out periodically. So like it's just a beautiful space. They host events there. So I would definitely say if you're in Birmingham, try the Birmingham Museum.
Okay.
Or the Civil Rights Museum, of course. People know about that. But the museum, it's very cute and artsy and like I just love it.
I love museums, so I'll have to check it out. I'm a big museum girl, so
Period. Yay.
yes. And I'll give a little New York City tip. It is the time of year where the leaves are starting to change. So if you come to New York City, take yourself on a stroll through Central Park. The leaves are starting to change, and there's just the trees like being surrounded by all of them. Oh, so pretty. It's that time of year.
Okay, now I'm tempted to go back to New York.
Yeah. In a couple weeks, probably will be like prime leaf time. I'm from New Hampshire too. So like we get a lot of leaf peepers in New Hampshire. And I'm going home this weekend and then again in a month for my mom's birthday. And I feel like when I'm home for her birthday, or not exactly a month, 3 weeks, I guess. That's like I feel like when the leaves are usually prime. It's like you've got all the golds and the reds.
See,
Oh.
that's the part I do miss. Because here it's just hot. So we get leaves too, but it'll be later.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. There's so many places you can go to see the leaves. You don't have to live here and deal with the harsh winters. You can just come to visit.
And that is exactly it. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I won't be in Manhattan forever. I cannot walk through these winters for the rest of my life. Got it.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Okay, Kameron, it was so fun to have you. Would you like to tell the people where they can follow you, your account names? Where are you? Where can they see what you're doing?
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank y'all so much. You can find me in the internet streets at Kameron Monet, Kameron with a K, okay? You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm in almost every social media platform, Kameron Monet. And then if you want a little bit more of the legal tea, okay, if you need a contract review, if you just want to get on a call with me and like brainstorm, I offer that as well. Go to thelegaltea.com and you'll find all my services there.
Yes. Yeah, definitely hire her if you need any of those services. If you need consulting, like she said, she can do those. She can consult across state lines. She will not be your attorney, but yeah, definitely hit her up. Okay, well, thank you for coming on, and it was a great episode. This one was so much fun.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.